dancing.
You like the dancing?
I loved the dancing.
But
I'm not a great one to judge, I'll put that out there straight away.
I was going to say, you've been on Strictly.
Exactly, I'm not a great one to judge.
well, you lasted 4 weeks.
Just.
Well, that may be what she's going for.
Have I missed the news that Theresa May is on Strictly? Yeah. Sorry.
No, she danced onto the podium.
It's a dancing queen.
Shall we just...
Oh, yes, please.
I think we need a look. It's Mama May.
It's an astonishing move she's got.
Yeah.
She's
Like she's moving a fridge, isn't it? Do you know what? She didn't think the music was going to go on as long as it did. Yes. She did it twice and she thought, I've nailed this. And then she was like, they were meant to have turned it off by now. I'm going to have to go again.
Everybody was out apart from him. That amazing.
Well, he was running, wasn't he?
Yeah, but we don't know away from who.
Well, why do we always see him jogging in shorts? He can't remember where he left his trousers.
Also,
Why hasn't he lost any weight?
why hasn't he lost any weight? He's always jogging or on a bike. In other policy news, though, what
policy
did
news.
Theresa May announce this week to help the UK celebrate and revel in a post-Brexit world?
We're going to have a festival.
Oh,
Wonderful.
yes.
Yes.
Festival of Brexit.
Yes.
That's it, yes.
Like the Festival of Britain.
That's right. She's announced plans to put £120 million aside to showcase the best the country has to offer in business, technology, arts and sport. It's going to be called The Festival. Look at that, already showcasing the talent we have.
But what's it celebrating?
The talent we have.
Our ability to put on a festival. Coloured tents with stripes all down the side. Lovely.
And ABBA.
ABBA.
Just going to point out that ABBA aren't the best that we have to offer.
Doesn't matter.
Can we just bring in things from Europe? This is what we're missing.
Now, let me get this right. The guy that they poisoned was a guy called Schiphol.
Yep.
And the airport that they travel to in Amsterdam is called Schiphol. So is this indicating that the Russians are out to get people who have names that sound like airports? Like it should Stansted be worried.
Awful news for JFK.
JFK or Luton. Or G.A. Twick. That's Gatwick, by the way. G.A. Twick. Heathrow.
Yes.
Are we going to go through them all?
If there was a bloke called Heathrow and he went to Russia, it could be Terminal 4 Heathrow. Do you know what I mean?
It's one of my only good traits. I don't drink. Whenever they're looking for something good, I say, never had a glass of alcohol. I've never had alcohol. I've just, you know, for whatever reason. Can you imagine if I had? What a mess I'd be?
That's the best advert for drinking I've ever seen. I think they should play that all the time.
The Manchester Students' Union access officer has argued that traditional applause at large gatherings is not sufficiently accessible.
I've been doing that at my gigs for years.
Yeah. Show your appreciation by standing up and walking out.
They're going to replace clapping with the more acceptable jazz hands.
Yeah. You wait for next year's Tory conference.
And Doctor Who fans are thrilled with Jodie Whittaker's performance as the Doctor, but less impressed by the new TARDIS.
If you hadn't made the joke about the leather trousers, life could have been different.
How many times have you said that before in your life?
That time you said it to Jim Morrison.
Listen, yeah. Will you resign the whip at some point if that looks like it's happening? Will you leave? Will you make a bold stand?
Well, I'm not planning. I'm not going to give away my game plan on all of this at this particular stage.
So no, then.
Surely appearing on this programme is the first step to a life outside of politics. Surely. That's been established.
One can only hope,
It's been established a long time ago.
What is this order? What do you want? Do you want it over with, or do you want it fought out?
Open the box! Take the money!
Just glad to see divided Britain in action.
That was a second referendum.
That was it.
The Earth Summit has been billed as the last chance to save the world. But for many celebrities, going green is the last chance to save their career. I've been rooting through the domestic detritus of Sting and a number of other green celebrities to see if their conversion is sincere. The first bag belonged to TV naturalist David Attenborough.
We noticed that as well as being a bon viveur and a lover of wine, we're also visiting the household of a gourmet. I've got genuine Parma ham here. £3.12 from Marks and Spencer's for 6 slices. Obviously very good value.
The only way was up after that, wasn't it, really?
It's a shame you didn't take that route.
Go the tax David Attenborough for not being green enough.
Yeah.
And you wanted him to be leader.
It'd be amazing. I mean, if you want to know the power of a man, look at the expression of another man while he sniffs an apple. That is a man thinking, oh, Christ, I hope he likes that apple.
Who's celebrating this week by not having a cake?
Oh, the bakers in Northern Ireland?
Yes.
Who didn't want to produce a cake with respect gay marriage written on it? Or support gay marriage, I think was the actual wording.
Well, you're completely right. Ash's Bakery in Belfast, who won their Supreme Court appeal over their refusal to bake a cake in support of gay marriage, a judge ruled that by baking the cake, the bakers would express an opinion which one does not hold.
Well, it is the principle. I mean, Peter Tatchell put it equally well. He said it's the equivalent of telling two gay bakers you must bake a cake which says, I think gay marriage is an abomination. Put that on. People don't have to. The freedom not to say something is part of the freedom to say something. Apparently it's worth more now.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is worth more.
That's
why
the art world.
the buyer is pretty happy because it has increased the value of the art. Art expert Joey Sire told The Telegraph Banksy has added a minimum 50% to its value. How did one owner of another Banksy try to double its value this week? It's a leading question.
Set fire to it. Shredded it. Shredded it as well.
Got to shred her out.
Yeah. Hoping to double its value.
Oh, dear.
He wanted to imitate the artist's actions by slicing strips into his own Banksy prints with a Stanley knife. Unfortunately, it had the adverse effect and took the value of the print from £40,000 to £1.
And that's if you chuck the knife in?
Yeah.
Oh, this is the naked woman?
Yes, his hedge, Keith Tyson's hedge.
Yes.
From Sheffield, has cut his hedge into the shape of what he describes as a sexy goddess. According to Keith, he has to mend the hedge 4 or 5 times a year because drunk passers-by keep jumping on it and pretending to have sex with it. Shall we have a look at Gloria?
I mean, you can't blame people, can you? Seems to have varicose veins. I don't want to point them out, but just put them through.
What set Theresa May's alarm bells ringing on Monday?
There was a mini rebellion, the pizza plot.
Yeah.
It's like gunpowder, except with sort of pepperoni. And...
They got together and they ordered pizza and talked about her.
Ooh. Ooh. Who's in the pizza plot, then? Do we know?
It's all the extreme Brexiteers.
Indeed. So that includes Sajid Javid, Esther McVeigh and Penny Mordaunt. She likes a stuffed crust. And...
Thin and crispy. Or
well...
Jacob Rees-Mogg, as he's known.
And also, an excited source told the Mail on Sunday...
What was the source?
Hey! Have you ever thought about doing stand-up?
No.
Just as well. Anyway...
I think it would be quite nice if all the men stopped shouting and screaming and waving their willies around and maybe just gave her a bit of a hand.
It's obviously a lot more interesting in Cabinet than I thought.
I know what she means. You must have heard Willie waving before.
I have heard of it as a phrase.
Yes.
It was an Olympic sport until 1930.
Surely there must be a bit of willy waving inside the private eye offices. Do you have any women in there?
Sorry?
Any women in
He's got an office in the middle of Soho, of course he has.
You can make a mindfulness jar. You have to fill a jar with water and put glitter in it.
Does Gwyneth Paltrow sell one?
If you can get it up your vagina, she can. Guess that Eugenie's wedding included Prince and Prinzessin Ertigan and Ertigan Spielberg.
I bet Spielberg was happy to get into that family, just to break it up a bit.
Well, they had 2 tables, and that was just for the name cards. So, as you say, no relation to Stephen,
No.
by the way.
How do you know?
I've checked it.
Yeah.
I bet you didn't.
I fucking did, Ian. Did.
And that's how Private Eye is edited every fortnight. A little insight there. Little insight. Fly on the wall. Can we get an electrician to look at Ian's light?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be working for the last 17 years.
I feel like... Was that a boo?
Who is it?
I can't possibly say, because there's an injunction.
Should we have a look at how Philip Green dealt with awkward questions before discovering super injunctions?
Yes.
It's not a super injunction. It's just an injunction. If it were a super injunction, we wouldn't even be able to say there was an injunction.
It was a...
I hate to show expertise, but I've got a bit of...
What else was found at the bottom of the ocean this week?
An ancient ship that was actually complete and came from about 2,500 years. It's a wonderful find.
This is fascinating, but not the right answer.
You let them go for quite a long time there, didn't you? Hanging themselves with
No, that was the most interesting find. It was a Greek trireme.
Yeah, but no one cares.
Yeah.
We care.
No one cared. God, it's Philistine news.
It's a sea cucumber that's found.
It's a plastic bag.
What does the headless chicken wants to do when it feels threatened?
It takes refuge in the ship that's down there.
Yeah.
Which no one cares about. Stop going on about it.
What's quite interesting is quite a lot of the goods were left on the ship that they'd been trading. Which indicates quite a broad reach of a mercantile empire about which we didn't really know enough.
The coffee will be cold by now, won't it?
Yeah.
There are traces of the food that they were eating when the boat sank.
Yeah.
Much more interesting than jellyfish.
Very unpopular Strictly jokes.
Yeah, they are really unpopular, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, no, Strictly serious.
Ian's never been asked to do it.
Fake news, I was asked this very year.
Ian's not good enough to do it.
Why did you turn it down?
Have you not been asked?
Yes, I've been asked, yes.
Oh, good. You turn it down?
I couldn't pass the medical.
What did the medical involve?
Dancing, I would imagine.
Snogging outside pubs. Very rigorous.
Snogging? What is this, 1968? Snogging?
Why didn't you do it?
I've been asked most years for a long time. I don't want to do it.
Why?
It's not compulsory, is it?
No, it's not. But...
Tonight, dancing the foxtrot, Ian Hislop. With his partner, Pitt the Younger.
Now you're talking.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you fancy doing it?
I've had enough of judges being rude to me.
What else has been found in the sea?
There was a ship.
Having once met Trump, yeah, that just makes me feel a bit sick even thinking of that.
How was it? Did you talk to him?
Yeah, I had to. I was interviewing him. Would have been tricky if I hadn't. He was creepy, man.
What did he say?
He said, "You're so beautiful, I'm going to leave the room to make myself look better, because if we do this interview now, everyone's just going to be staring at you and not listening to me." Because he thought that would disarm me. He thought, as a female journalist, that was the best thing to say to me, rather than, "Oh, I watched your piece on, I don't know, mobile phone insurance last week." And I thought it was great. So do you know what my response to him was? Love, I've heard better lines than that down Club Bongo.
Can't tell which is the This Week programme and which is the video. They've merged together.
And you ask me why I won't go on Strictly.
So how did the rumours of a big cat on the loose circulate?
People said, "I've just seen a big cat in the moons." I look like a panda to me.
Yeah, it was residents of East Asia.
Where was this panther?
Johannesburg.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Say that again.
What? Johannesburg.
No, I liked your accent doing it.
Hey, have you been up to the hills lately? There's a great big panda up there the size of a cat.
That was Namibia.
At least I'm trying to get outside my comfort zone, non-dancer.
Why were fingers being pointed at Friends actor David Schwimmer this week?
There was somebody seen on CCTV, it looks like him running off with a bottle of cider or a bottle of lager.
Beer.
A crate of beer.
A crate of beer, Your Honour.
It really does look like him, doesn't it? They released a statement, the police, saying, "We have investigated this matter thoroughly and have confirmed that David Schwimmer was in America on this date." David Schwimmer also provided himself with an alibi by posting this from America. You know, over 6 million people have watched that online now, which has got to be his biggest audience for some time, hasn't it? I once got mistaken as a prostitute at Grimsby Fish Market.
By Donald Trump?
I was offered 4 cans of Stella. Honestly, this is true. 4 o'clock in the morning, I was going to film breakfast, and this fella comes towards me with 4 cans of Stella and a tenner, because he wanted me to drink the cans and urinate on him. And he was offering me a tenner for that.
Really?
I mean, if he'd have done 15 and Grolsch, I would have done it.
So what did you do?
The thing is, I got in a taxi afterwards, and the taxi driver said, "Oh, have you had a good morning's work?" And I thought, "Oh, you must recognise me off breakfast." I said, "Oh, yeah, it's gone quite well." And he went, "Oh, because it's been a bit quiet recently, because Sheila said she struggled."
That the Chancellor has allocated less money to schools than he has to what?
Potholes.
Potholes.
Yeah. Big problem.
Well, I wonder if we should try to get a deeper understanding of the problem.
Yes.
By playing a game of Name That Pothole. The way it works is, I'll show you a pothole.
Yeah.
And you have to tell me where it is.
At last, my specialist subject.
I'll give the point to whoever's closest. You say Margate, you say...
Bournemouth. It looks like a Bournemouth pothole.
No. Is it somewhere in between?
It's Islington.
Islington.
Oh, that's Is that nearer Bournemouth or Margate?
Margate.
Margate. All right, the points go over there. Where's this?
Aberdeen.
No.
No? You say no? Oh, we should have consulted.
Is it a trump course?
Where?
Turnberry.
Is that nearer or further from Godalming than Aberdeen?
It's good to play this game because you've hit on a fundamental mistake about it. You don't know what you're doing. You need a map of Great Britain. You need a glamorous assistant pointing out Margate and Bournemouth and Islington. And this little triangle appears.
You need a social media chat board.
Yeah.
So people can ring in and say what they think about potholes.
Yeah.
God, this programme's so out of date.
And there's a man who's pretending to look for his glasses but actually isn't, and takes them off to see something a little bit clearer. So, terrible piece of acting from that gentleman. Because if you see, the glasses are down his nose when he starts.
Clearly doesn't need the glasses at
Look,
all.
here we go, look, here we go. Watch this again. Look, there we are, watch. He's looking over the top of them, right? Can't quite make out the writing, so he takes them off. But he wasn't looking through them in the first place. And this is the kind of crap I have to put up with on this show.
Who did she claim tried to chat her up in 2012?
Me.
No.
It was Ian Hislop. What? Yes. After she did the show in 2012, Nat Olio told The Sun about Ian. He wanted to take me for a drink afterwards, but I couldn't go. Good evening.
It was Bants. It's just not true.
No.
At the end of the show, we go and have a drink in hospitality. She was sitting there, I was sitting there. I said, we're going to have a drink. That was it. Sorry, that was me being Bruno Tololioli.
But yeah, yes, but what Ian's not telling you is that 2 hours later they were behind the bins at McDonald's. Couldn't separate them. Couldn't separate them.
I don't really like it when they burn these effigies on the bonfire. No. Like they do in Lewis every year.
They do not?
No, I find it a bit creepy. I mean, in a way, I like the old-fashioned nature of celebrating bonfire night rather than Halloween.
Yes, I hate all those ghouls and monsters. I think burning Catholics is much healthier.
Happy Halloween.
It'll probably be very good for me politically. I could see it being extremely good politically, because I think I'm better at that game than they are.
He's been wearing goggles in the fake tan again.
It's like a negative photograph of a panda, isn't it?
But he had a rally cheering, saying we're going to shoot them. Yay!
Well, you know, the Trump supporters aren't bright.
You see, it's that sort of insight you don't get on mainstream shows.
I'll tell you what, CNN should be ashamed of itself having you working for them. You are a rude, terrible person. You shouldn't be working for CNN. Go ahead. Go ahead, Peter, go ahead.
In Jim's defense, I've traveled with him and watched him. He's a diligent reporter who busts his
Well, I'm
butt
not a
like
big
the rest
fan
of
of
us.
yours either, so
I
to be honest.
See, this is where the next reporter should then have defended that job.
Ian, this man swam round the whole of Britain.
That's right. Bits of his tongue actually fell off due to the constant exposure to salty water. He told The Guardian, I realised something was bad when I woke up with chunks of it on my pillow.
Hang on, pillow?
Yeah.
What's he on a night?
Pillow?
Well, he didn't sleep in the water.
Didn't he? Well, that's not swimming around the coast non-stop, is it? What did he do? Go to a hotel?
He's still a human being. He's not the Little Mermaid.
He's a liar. Honestly.
The man's tongue fell out.
Yes, because he lied.
You're applauding this poor bloke.
What lengths did one woman go to get a cake to Ross?
Did she swim out?
Yes.
With the cake?
Well, he was resting in the Hebrides one morning when a lady
Resting in the Hebrides? Was this man in the sea at any point? He walks around the island 5 feet away. I'm in the sea, but it's a bit cold today.
Yes, this is the news that Ross Edgley has become the first person to swim around Britain.
Allegedly.
A sculptor, a footballer... sorry, I need to say it again. I said sculptor instead of sculpture, didn't I? Sorry. You won't see it on the telly.
You've managed to turn back time.
Yes, an old trick.
Dominic Raab is the bookies' front-running favourite to be the next PM.
So, well, that's just ludicrous. He doesn't know that Dover and Calais are on different sides of the channel. He's not going to be Prime Minister. Maybe I am.
Well...
What's the bookies say? Oh, no!
Landslide.
If Ian's going to be Prime Minister, can I be the man that shouts out to them as they walk along 10 Downing Street? Oh, do you still be editing Private Eye, Prime Minister? Are those your own underpants, Prime Minister?
It's this memorial plaque.
But it's a different one, isn't it?
I don't know. Local resident Victoria Richards said people have been very angry and upset, while BBC News revealed that some came to the conclusion that there must have been another person called Saddam Hussein who was born and died on the same dates as the dictator and lived locally in one state. But anyway, it was later removed by the council with some help from the Americans and a massive drone strike. Naughty Gecko was responsible for making a bazillion prank calls. This is a gecko at an animal hospital in Hawaii who sat on a phone's touchscreen and made a bazillion prank calls. Here it is. The gecko kept phoning but had nothing of interest to say.
Well, how are these prank calls? Because there's no prank. They're accidental calls, certainly.
Yeah.
But he's not sort of accidentally, you know, phoning somebody with his arse and saying, you know, your milk money's overdue. I mean, what...
Yes.
Or you've won the pools or something.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll have to take this up with the
Well,
Gecko section of The Guardian.
I will. Who do I write to?
Head of Gecko News.
Dear head of Gecko News.
Yeah.
Do you think we are idiots?
Yeah.
Yours sincerely, find out who.
Yeah. They should have gone with Naughty Gecko briefly sits on phone.
Exactly. And is it even naughty? It's not doing it deliberately, is it?
Yeah, that's true, but we don't know what...
I mean, the whole thing falls apart.
To be fair, we don't know what else the gecko's done in its life.
But nor do they.
Yeah.
A series of value judgments.
And look at the
posing as
photograph. The
reporting.
gecko's nowhere near the buttons. You can't make a phone call from up there.
It's firstly, that photo has been faked. I think that's not the bazillion calls happening, because it was on a touch screen of a phone, and that's clearly a landline with buttons.
Well, I think the BBC should be taken off air.
Bring back the Potter's Will, is what I say. Men in Essex throw a birthday party for Gecko, who misled them into thinking it was his birthday via a prank call with his arse, where he pretended to be the former UN General Butus Ghali, and he was coming to visit them, and they had a bit of spray put up, and all the bunting was put up, and then they realised it was a prank.
I'll check. No.
No?
In Minnesota, at a local confidence-building class, one member of the group's self-esteem goes back to rock bottom.
1, 2, 3. No, wait, no!
And at a warehouse in Wolverhampton, work on stockpiling medicine in case of a no-deal Brexit suffers a slight setback. There was sad news this week about the death of Baroness Trumpington, the oldest person ever to appear on this show. Here's one of her best moments just before opening titles began to roll.
I would like to know why, at the age of 90, I've had to sign a piece of paper in order to be on this show to say I wasn't pregnant.
We tried to have Baroness Trumpington on this show again, and it was the day Mrs Thatcher had died. She was a friend of Mrs Thatcher, and she said, oh, yeah, that'll be fine. And then the first round was Mrs Thatcher dying. So just before the show, she just said, oh, I'm not doing this. And she went home. It's fantastic. She just didn't give a shit.
Who was she replaced by?
The BBC had insisted that there was a Tory on because Mrs Thatcher had died, and then no one was available for the show. So the only person who said they'd come and do it at 7 o'clock was Ken Livingstone.
I blame you for Brexit, this programme. Me? I blame this... You're the ones that bigged up Boris. You know, you probably launched him.
You really should watch the programme.
I think ITV is probably more of a Leave channel, isn't it? And the BBC is more of a Remain channel.
Why do you think that?
Because the BBC, of course, is the voice of the liberal elite, which is why I dressed up as a more Tory person this evening. For some balance.
Yeah, I thought you were channeling Mrs T.
And who have the media been trying to keep out of the Brexit coverage recently?
The SNP?
No. You've not seen this man.
What, Corbyn? No.
Oh my God, yes! Sorry. Oh, man. He's the Mr. Stop Brexit guy.
Yes.
And I think the BBC and Sky clubbed together and spent about £10,000 to erect a studio on College Green, because this guy's always in the back with his placard saying, stop Brexit. So they're all clubbed together, spend all this money, and all he did was spend £3 lengthening his pole.
Let's have a quick look at his work here. There it is. How was the actual Armageddon avoided?
It's 12 draws in a row, isn't it? And chess fans were getting annoyed. They said it was making the sport boring. And I just think it's really... all these draws are really ruining the game of chess. The game's changed. You know, I used to love nothing more than on a Saturday having a few beers, meeting up with the lads.
Strip chess.
Going down the...
Strip chess. I can see your bishop. I know you can, mate.
Shock. Chess is dull.
Dull.
To watch.
Spectacle.
I'm sure it's great to play.
Commentary would liven it up at the very least, wouldn't it?
Would it?
You watch the... Well, even snooker commentary would help, you know. Oh, where's the bishop going?
They need to modernise it like cricket, don't they?
Yeah.
2020 chess, you've got 20 seconds, that's the whole game.
Put little motors in the pieces, you've got to try and catch them, change the nature of the
wake
game.
up. And then get betting. Get Ray Winston. Bet 365. Straight in.
Get in play. That would be good.
Ukrainians, get them.
What was Diego Maradona's response to being asked about his new job in Mexican football?
Did he get quite angry? Did he throw a bucket of water at somebody?
Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look.
¿Qué piensas de la Liga MX, de su nivel? No,
The drugs have worn off then.
I mean, what does Musk think was more likely to happen on Mars than Earth?
Dying.
Yes.
Getting stuck. Oh, there he is.
Oh, that's gone. Oh, he fell to Earth that quickly. Oh, Elon.
That was good.
That was quite major. Oh.
What
Okay.
happened?
I don't know, something happened in the back of the set. I'm sorry, I don't know what it was.
Don't worry.
Nobody's hurt.
Nobody's hurt. Excellent. Excellent.
How do you know it's sorted if you don't know what happened?
Yeah, hang on.
Could it happen again? Buggers?
That's worse than the Brexit secretary. She read chemistry and then she worked developing soft ice cream.
Absolutely right.
I think of her every time I have a Mr. Whippy.
Do you?
Too much information.
We thought that was just a rumour.
The giant cow in Australia. He's 6 foot something tall.
He's 6'4", weighs nearly 1.5 tons. See if you can spot him here, blending in with the rest of the herd.
At the end of a champagne wedding reception, as the groom attempts a shortcut to the honeymoon suite, the bride realises she may have to find something else to do on her wedding night.
Get it!
That's made my eyes water, that is. The Dominic Grieve Amendment, what's that all about?
I'm getting the impression that Ian's been trapped in the back of a black cab with some bloke. I've seen you. What's that all about? What's that about?
Oh, yeah, I love her. Ada Hederberg, Golden Ball.
Yes, very good footballer.
Oh, it's a sexy guy. Oh, she's had enough. It's about the Ballon d'Or. Is that, I'm mispronouncing it, but...
You're asking the wrong man about mispronouncing that.
we're in trouble.
Yeah, no, this is the news that the world's best footballer awards have been overshadowed by a sexism row. The Ballon d'Or's been running since 1956, but this is the first year they've given an award to female footballers. Who stuck his bloody oar in? Go on.
I think I know this. It's your son, isn't it?
Yeah. It's trendy to be indignant about things, isn't it, now? And it's what makes
Are
headlines.
you sure? I remember Sue Barker asking him to do Gangnam Style. It definitely happened one Wimbledon.
He'd never know what that was.
Nor do I, but I just thought I'd say it.
Andy said, another example of the ridiculous sexism that still exists in sport. Why do women still have to put up with that shit?
Oh, really? Did he have to? Was he brought up in a barn?
I'll have a word.
And to everyone who thinks that people are overreacting, it was just a joke, and it wasn't. So, strong words.
I think it's very similar to when men tell women to smile. And it's what people call, like, you know, like a microaggression. Men never tell each other to smile in the way they tell women to.
We're learning, though, aren't we?
When you say that, smile.
I don't know, people tell me to cheer up, you bastard.
To be fair, we're not talking about your immediate family. This is people that you might see in the street, you know?
Oh, sorry, yes, sorry.
Why have there been complaints at Ted Baker this week?
The man who owns Ted Baker
The man who
insists
owns
on
it.
hugging.
Yeah. Kelvin? Is his
Yeah, the chief executive of Ted Baker, Ray Kelvin. Kelvin, he's got a hugging spot
Yeah.
close to his desk in Ted Baker's open plan office. I mean, let's have a look at it. Here it is, look. Yeah.
They're very pleased with themselves about it.
Yes, they do, yes.
Yeah.
Better than having a wanking spot, I suppose.
That's the bright side. That's the bright side, isn't it?
I mean, I've said
You're
it.
out of order.
So, the end of that round, 2 points each.
Yeah, lovely.
Well done, partner.
Lovely.
It's all you.
Just talking to my coach.
You need to up your game.
I do, you're right.
I'm not a fan of losing.
This is genuinely terrifying.
You should have made that clear before the show started.
I asked to be in your team.
Did you?
You're meant to coach me, so we better not just pick the winner.
Fingers on the old buzzers.
Yeah.
What should...
It's all right, I've got my finger on the buzzer.
What should be...
I'm there.
Good.
Have you got the temperament for big match competitions?
Obviously not.
How has a Christmas display on the Isle of Man been causing a stir?
That's actually illegal on the Isle of Man.
You got Ted Baker in the background.
How funny is that?
I think it's what Ted Baker would have wanted, didn't you?
This lot are all queuing up
Yeah.
to give Mohammed bin Salman
Yeah, how did
high
they-
five.
How did they greet each other?
Yes.
Like
that.
Putin.
This was quite bad, wasn't it, really?
Like old pals. Look, have a look at this, look.
Hey, you got away with murder too.
Yeah, look at Trump, look, in the background, look like a jilted lover. Look at him, look. How did Justin Trudeau upset Trump by calling him what?
Is it Donald?
Yeah, it was his Christian name, wasn't it?
He don't like it, does
Address
he?
him by his proper name.
Let's have a look at it, look.
And Donald, it's all the more reason why we need to keep working to remove the tariffs on steel and aluminum between our countries.
You just call him Donald constantly.
President Duck is the original.
There's some more Cockney rhyming slang.
Yeah. The safe one.
Right,
Ian
it's the
and
feud, the apparent feud between the two duchesses.
It started because they're both wearing satellite dishes on their heads.
Why was Bungle, the Chow Chow, accused of bad behaviour?
He bit a police officer. He's only 4 months old. He didn't know any better. It's just a baby. It didn't know any better, and these guys are trying to get him out, and they just do what comes naturally, and if we lose him,
The insights into your child rearing.
They celebrated by sending 2 reporters round to Bungle's house dressed as Zippy and George. Let's have a look at them. Here we go. Oh, no.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
Oh, journalism, eh?
That's some young reporter's first day.
That dog stole an expression which is saying, haven't I suffered enough?
Jamie Oliver once put what in his nan's Christmas cracker?
Viagra.
Viagra?
That's right. That's the right answer. I've heard that before.
No, it's the right answer. It is the right answer. Heston Blumenthal has been adding what to
Calories.
his food?
Little bits of his own body.
I know this one.
Keep your mouth shut. Quick, come on!
Yeah, get in. Get up to the net. Go
More
on.
nutrients, more protein, vitamins.
No, Judy knows.
I know she does. She's been very polite. Go on, Judy.
Pebbles.
Pebbles?
Little stones.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
No, it's Pebbles.
Yeah, he has. Very strange.
Pebbles from his garden.
Yeah, I mean,
Why?
Who does that?
Yeah, I mean, I've never eaten at Heston Blumenthal's restaurant. I've got an allergy to nutcases, so... Before we go, there's just time for the caption competition. Have a bit of this.
The cast of Murder on the Orient Express find out there's a rail replacement bus.
Theresa May is still your Prime Minister this morning. How do you feel about that?
I couldn't care less.
So Mrs May, she won. The Tory party was full of them. Ian Duncan Smith, who actually faced a vote of no confidence. Do you remember he was Tory leader once?
Yeah.
He lost. He didn't just win by not very much. He lost completely and was removed. There he is in the studio saying, no, it was a bad night for her. Only compared to being sacked for being utterly useless.
Never even faced an election, did he?
No.
Would you like to see Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Liz Truss, making some black pudding?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Here you go.
Absolutely.
Do they not have any PR people?
I tell you what, though, she's definitely done that before.
So this is the French president, Monsieur Macron.
So handsome.
This is...
He's great at gardening as well as
Do you think so?
Oh, yeah, I'd love to be married to him.
Would you?
Yeah, I'm not old enough.
He's not that old, is he?
Nobody likes older people, I think.
Does he?
His partner's a bit older than him.
Oh, is she?
It's very romantic.
Is it?
Yeah, I think she was his teacher.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you not know this?
No.
Oh, you'd love it.
Would I?
I'll send you the book.
All right.
I mean, we're having a go at Theresa May for incompetence. Come on. Paris is in flames. They smashed up the Arc de Triomphe. We've had 700,000 middle-class people going, can we have another vote? That's Britain for you. You should be incredibly grateful.
And, of course, the worry is that the right is going to surge up again because Marie Le Pen was his big threat. So I think there's a lot of people kind of thinking, well, this would be good for the far right. The other thing which is hard for him
is... It's going to be the chemise noire.
Oh, yes.
Some of you must have learned French.
These French jokes, they're just not working here, are they?
Yeah. No, we're going to make them work.
We'll keep going. We'll keep trying.
La plume de maton. I'm starting low. He thinks he's the new Napoleon. I mean, like that in that picture. Everything is very grand. And he has, the palaces are huge. And he wants to reinvent French pomp.
Do you think it's because he's small?
How do you know?
I'm guessing that has nothing to do with it.
What sad animal news emerged from Australia this week?
The biggest kangaroo ever is no longer the biggest kangaroo. He's fallen over and not getting up again.
He's a deceased kangaroo. He is no more.
He is no more, exactly.
He was very ripped, wasn't he? He was like a sort of Arnold Schwarzenegger of kangaroos.
What was his name? Anyone?
George.
Roger.
Paul.
Roger.
Roger the kangaroo. I mean, it sounds like an instruction.
How did Roger first become famous?
I think for doing a calendar or something.
Well, he's probably done a calendar, but no, that was not the first thing he did. It was because of this picture of him crushing a metal bucket.
He's very proud, isn't he? He's got a very proud demeanour.
Apparently people have written, poems and stuff about him online. They love him.
Yeah.
You can see why.
He'll make one more TV appearance as his balls are set to be eaten on the next series of I'm a Celebrity. But before we go, there's just time for the caption competition.
That chap's playing my cousin. It didn't happen for real. The dog saying, I've just had the weirdest dream.